To involve people. However, don't forget that obviously we want to make sure that internal teams get the priority first. We try to pick up the people from inside.
Yeah.
So if they'll feel that they're more wanted within the company as a whole, and obviously they'll feel a lot more prouder if they're involved in the project as compared to if you try to bring somebody from outside.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel that first we should look inside in terms of careers, and then if we can't find anybody inside, then we start to look outside and try to source out externally.
Yeah.
I also feel that we should involve sales team in this, and the reason I feel that is there still is a huge number of people who tend to bank personally, so they try to go inside the bank physically, and I think salespeople are one of the best people to promote your app. So they can actually tell those guys, like, listen, next time you don't need to come inside the bank, you can always go into the app and you can do this on the app, or you can check the balance on the app.
I mean, they will be responsible to create the awareness.
Yeah, we could
tell the customers what is the benefit of this using this.
Yeah, we can use them as one of the sources to try to promote.
Yeah.
And that's a very good point. Like in terms of promotion, we can also include maybe some online specialist or social media specialist team, like who would be using YouTube videos or Facebook or Twitter, and they will be specifically responsible for handling those accounts to promote how bank is developing new app and how it's gonna create values for the customers.
Anything else you want to add, Miraj, here? Any other division?
Probably like if we include like any data analytics team here who would be solely responsible for collecting data from marketing, or as Adil says, the sales team, and we can use those information as a prerequisite database for the next version of the banking mobile app launch, so that when the technical team will develop, they can get some input and get some idea and enhance the next version of the app. How do you think about it?
No, I think analyst is definitely needed in this, because as you said, in terms of trying to get the information, get the data, they're the best people, and they can kind of correlate the data together and try to come up with solutions, which no doubt pretty much all of these teams that we've discussed will find it very useful going forward, because when technical is going to develop the next phase or the latest version of app, obviously they'll have that information in hand. So the next app will be a lot more tailor-made towards the people as compared to the current version, and then the marketing team can use that kind of data to actually target the audience and make sure that the marketing material that they're using is actually more tailor-made. And similarly, salespeople will know, okay, what's our target audience and who to approach and who not to talk with.
Yeah, the picture will be more clear.
Yeah, it will be very useful.
And also, I think like we can maybe use that data, like how many customers are using that app for how many times, and then on the basis of that, we can maybe offer some promotions to the customers. Like if you are using this app maybe for this long or this many times you have logged in, then you can get this kind of promotions or kind of discounts or some, in superstores you get sometimes, in Tesco, you get some promotions, some offers on the basis of how much you have used, how many times you went there, and you get a point on the club card, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be very challenging to do, especially with a mobile phone app.
Right.
Purely because initially I don't think we are actually offering anything which is actually worth providing them with the offers. Obviously,
Mhm.
when they go into the products and offers,
Yeah.
and if they look into some very specific offer,
Mm.
then we can always tailor-made it for
Yeah.
them. So
Yeah.
from that point of view, I think it's a very valid point.
Right. Okay. So shall we summarize? Anyone wants to summarize?
Yeah,
Shall I do?
Yeah, please.
go ahead.
Right, the divisions are, we want to include here, those are IT, those are responsible to develop the whole project. They're the main people, as you guys said. And then finance team, they will be responsible to finance the project. Then marketing team, yeah, and you said like we can know, on the basis of their market research, we'll be able to know the market size, their hobbies, and then afterwards we can include the sales team also, who will be able to create an awareness among the customers. Just, I mean, you said like they will say the customers that they don't need to come to the branch. All the problems are going to be resolved by using this app.
Yeah, I wouldn't say all the problems, but obviously they can find the
The
answers
basic,
from
yeah,
most
yeah.
of the information. Yeah.
Then the regularity team, who will be checking whether this app or this development, this process is meeting all the rules or not. Then HR team, who will be responsible to hire the right people in terms of external or internal both. And then data analytic team, and then, yeah, these are, I think,
Yeah,
pretty much.
I think that's
Yeah.
pretty much
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah,
So there will be a lot of different
Yeah.
teams involved.
We are pretty good in managing the time, really.
Yeah, that's good. Now
So-
we're doing good because we've gone through it too.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, so the next one is benchmarking.
Benchmarking, yeah. I think somehow we have already discussed one of the features in benchmarking, like the security, like finger scan or the text alert
Yeah.
that mobile app is not going to be misused or something. In terms
Yeah.
of like security, I'd like to add one more point, like
How do you, yeah, sorry, go on.
yeah, like for example, if we put the login into two-step login, so first you put login ID password, then in next stage you put another password to actually log into the app. So it will make more secure. And in between the login, in between the like two inputting, like if there is any timeout period, maybe maximum 5 seconds or something, the screen will go back to the main login page.
Home page, yeah.
Yeah, home page. So it would create more secure. At least the customer would feel like app is more secure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Or instead of timing it out, perhaps what we can do is we can have on the second screen, the customer will have to type in their password, and if they type in the password incorrectly, then it goes back to the
Yeah.
then it goes back to the main screen. Yeah. So I think that would be a good idea.
And I also think the stability, it is also a main important factor here.
Like, can you please elaborate?
Yeah, stability means like, for example, in any particular day, for example, Boxing Day or the Black Friday, people are millions of customers are doing shopping and using this mobile app. So sometimes we see that the app gets crashed, and then it will make a huge disaster and make a negative impact for the bank. So I think we can measure this stability before we launch. I think we can create a virtualization situation. By doing this, we can create some virtual, for example, maybe 3 million virtual customers, and then we can make busy this app for 10 minutes and then see how it works. If it is stuck or it is still working properly, then we can check the stability in that way.
So we should carry out kind of demo, even
Yeah,
pre-line.
kind of experiment.
Yeah, pre-line.
Yeah, or maybe we can use our internal resources. For example, our employees, we can ask maybe 3 million employees to use that app and log in there for 10 minutes.
3 million is 3 million is a
So,
lot of,
a lot, yeah.
3 million is a lot.
50,
Yeah.
60,000 something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, I think that's a good valid point.
Yeah.
And even though we might not be able to find it at that kind of scale, but I mean most of the companies nowadays tend to do that anyway. You know, they tend to ask their own employees to go out there, play around with them. You know, try to find the bugs.
Yeah, in that
And
case, yeah.
I think we can do something similar to that to our employees, just to ask them to
Yeah,
go
we
and
can
play around and try to find the bug. Perhaps give them one day.
measure it, yeah. in that
But
way.
don't you think that there is a loss of productivity if we ask our employees for one day to engage in finding out the bugs?
It's not a day release.
No, I think in terms of productivity, I think it will be time and perhaps money well spent, purely because it's better to find a problem and rectify it even pre-live or before it gets in the hands of customers, as opposed to going live and then customer finding a problem, and you know, customer can end up lose trust in your website. So it's just about trying to find this balance where you feel like, okay, well, am I going to let this product go and then try let the customer find the problem, or should I spend some time and allow one of our guys to find the problem, which, you know.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I feel that it'll be worth it.
Better do internally first, do you think?
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because you don't. Again, I have to go back to say that banking is something which people take it very sensitively, and you know, if they lost trust in your app, then it will be impossible to try to gain their trust again.
Yeah, and especially when it is the first launch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's you know, it's very important to have that.
So any more benchmarking?
I think QR code was something which was mentioned initially, which you know, we need to look into that security, and obviously how secure is that going to be if we're using QR code to check the actual checks, or to try to get the money into our account. Is that secure enough, or do we need to put some sort of security measures in place for that?
But you think it would be a good idea to include something like that?
I think this is something which for me is very innovative.
Okay.
So I think even though there's when you try to look at the amount of checks which go around, especially in the UK, I would say not many. However, still there are a few people who do use checks, and you know, there are businesses who use checks as well. Don't forget that are we trying to target this just for a consumer point of view, or are we looking into business side as well?
In my opinion, like probably from consumer point of view would be the best option at this time.
Yeah.
Because since like our competitors already have, you know, quite established app, and we don't have enough market share. So if we just focus into the consumer side, then gradually, like when we build up our reputation, maybe we can go into increase our market share by developing features which would be helpful for the business users as well.
Yeah.
What do you think about Sabina? Do you think something differently or the same?
Yeah, I think I am somehow kind of agree with you. Like those are very good features at QR code check. So, but I think we are in the initial stage. So, I think we can think from the consumer views, and then we can slowly, gradually, we can increase.
Perhaps integrate it at a later stage.
Yeah, and then expand the operation towards maybe the business and other trading and all these.
Right. Okay. No, I agree with you. I think that's correct, and it will be a right way to move forward.
Yeah, slowly and gradually.
Yeah, of course.
So, any more feature you guys want to include? We don't have much time for these 10 minutes.
I think we've covered pretty much most of them.
Yeah.
I want to include maybe one more if you guys want to
Yeah, of
listen.
course.
sure.
Go ahead.